Saying, seems like we're good. Let me know, Elika, if you can hear me or not still, and if I'm muted. But in that case, I do apologize, guys, if you haven't been able to hear me for the start of the stream. But I will obviously continue. So yeah, as you can see on the screen, there that is my current team at the moment. So so I'll just make a quick run through. Oh, okay, good. That's good. Thank you, guys in the chat for letting me know. So in goal, I've gone with Flecken. I've gone with back three of Pedro Porro, Virgil van Dijk, and Dan Burn. Midfield five of Saka, Eze, Diego Jota, Salah, and Gordon. And the front two forwards, Solanke and Isaac. And on the bench, we've got obviously Flecken's counterpart, goalkeeper for Brentford, Boldy Marston. And the two Fulham players, Muniz, Robinson, and finally Leif Davies from Ipswich. So that is the team bench, and that is the starting 11 on the screen, and that is 100 million team value, guys. So I have no money in the bank from this team that you see on the screen. So I've literally pushed every fund possible to get this team out. I kind of wished I preferred to have Trent in my team, but obviously there's not enough money to go around. I would have to downgrade someone somewhere, and it's a bit hard to do when obviously you've got Saka, who's worth 10 mil plus, and obviously Solanke, Isaac, as well as Mo Salah too. So yeah, it has been a bit of a tight squeeze trying to get the right team balance, and this is what I come up with so far. But it does look good. I feel like I don't really want to change anyone last minute for this, because I feel like this is the right team to go with into game week 1. So let's get a few of your comments, guys, while through this dead live stream. So we got one from Benji, who says Matty Cash an option. Yeah, Matty Cash is an interesting one. He had a kind of a quiet season. Obviously, last season there wasn't really much for Matty Cash for Aston Villa, but with obviously Emery being the new manager, he has turned around quite a few of the players there, and the team overall has been pretty outstanding, especially where they finished last season. So yeah, Matty Cash could be a possible option. I believe I haven't seen many people go with Matty Cash in their teams. I'm just checking how much Matty Cash is. So he is 4.5. It is a viable option to go with. 3.1% owned as well. So not many people currently have Matty Cash in the draft. He does have West Ham as his first game week 1 fixtures. So that is an interesting one, because West Ham have been pretty poor, especially last season. They really struggled. And yeah, I think Aston Villa have a really nice run of fixtures. I think Arsenal in game week 2 it's pretty much their hardest one until I'd say pretty much game week 10 where they face Spurs, but throughout that game week 1 to obviously 10, it's a very good run for Aston Villa, especially if you have Watkins as an option for an attacking threat. Elika says, any reason for going for Burn over Hall? I assume Hall will start over Burn. Yeah, I did mention yesterday in team selection that Dan Burn might not be a very solid nailed match because there is a contention over other players in his position like Hall that could possibly play over him. I do want to see I am going to chance it and go for Burn just in the case that he does start over him in Southampton. Then it's worth a risk. I say because it's the opening, even though it's the opening game week, you kind of want all your players to start. So I'm taking a bit of a gamble with that, but I do have bench options if I need to. Obviously, if anything happens to Dan Burn, because I do have Robertson who has Man United, but again, clean sheet wise, I preferred to have Dan Burn there for Southampton and see, and fingers crossed he does start over him or vice versa. We'll see. And Animax says, I like the Jota pick. Yeah, I kind of wanted to go with another Liverpool asset apart from Salah because I know a lot of people will own Salah as a Liverpool asset, so not really much. I mean, he is 33.7% owned, so it's not quite as owned as I thought he would be, if I'm honest, but it's hard to go by that Ipswich fixture that they have, even though it's an away one. I still like possibly captaincy over Salah. But I kind of liked another Liverpool player that's less owned and where I can get probably more points from. And Diogo Jota seems like a reliable source for that. He's only 16% owned, so he's almost half of Salah's ownership. So that could rack in some good ranking for game week 1 if he does have a very successful one, scoring a goal, possibly getting an assist. A double haul would be fantastic. And you're in a position where you can't choose between Flecken or Henderson. Yeah, I mean, Flecken has Crystal Palace at home. Henderson, obviously, they play against each other, so he has Brentford. Yeah, it is a tough one. Dean Henderson, he was pretty good goalkeeper for, I think, when he was with Nottingham Forest. I quite like Henderson. He wasn't a bad goalkeeper. But yeah, he is popular. 17.5% own Dean Henderson, surprisingly, with the opening fixture being Brentford. That is interesting, but he is 4.5 million, so he could be a good one to go for. I think I just prefer Fleck over him, though. I don't think I've seen enough of Henderson to probably give him the confidence to pick him. I think I'll choose Fleck, and obviously I've got him in my team, so that kind of narrows things down for me. Comment from Enda, because people have predicted that Burn will start at centre back because all other options are out, but who knows? Yeah, that is true. That obviously there is a bit of an issue in terms of Newcastle at the moment, as I believe Botman, he's out long term. He's expected back in December, possibly because of his knee injury. So yeah, it's hard to say. Who obviously will start at the back for Newcastle, but I mean, it is not to obviously disrespect Southampton. It is a good game for Newcastle to get a head start, get those 3 points, and it is a home fixture too. So that's the thing. We won't know for sure until obviously they play. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Dan Burn does make that lineup. I mean, it would be annoying if he didn't, obviously, but at the same time, it's one of those. I think I'll go for it nonetheless. Comment from Mark says, "Hi, good to see you back. I'm looking for some help. Current team is Henderson, Fabianski, Trent, Robinson, Hall, Mikalenko, Johnson, Salah, Rashford, and Nkunku, Smith-Rowe, Winks, Haaland, Isaac, Solanke." So yeah, you got with a front three, a very strong front three of Haaland. So it is a Haaland team with Isaac and Solanke up front. Goalkeepers Henderson and Fabianski. See, I would have obviously Henderson in the goal as a starting keeper over Fabianski because I'm not sure with obviously how well they do in terms of Fabianski. Trent, Robertson, Hall. So you got Liverpool, Fulham, and obviously Newcastle. But you do have a clash because you've got Rashford in there, who plays against Robertson tonight, if that is the Fulham one. So I don't know if Rashford, if I'd go with him from game week 1. I think for me, definitely is a wait and see because in that Community Shield game, he had a lot of chances, which I do like about a player that gets a lot of chances to score and provide opportunities. But there are some in there where he should have put it behind the net, and that slightly have put me off. Obviously, Man United asset like Rashford at 7 million as well. I think there is slightly better options out there for a cheaper price. So around 7 million though, who could I say would be a better choice at 7 million in terms of midfielders? Well, obviously Eze. Eze 7 million. I think I'll prefer picking Eze over Rashford in that sense, Mark. I think that's one change I would probably make. Apart from that, though, I do like the rest of the team. Smith Rowe is a good one because these are cheap. Very cheap option, and especially being at Fulham now, it will be interesting to see what he does. Obviously, for them, and obviously plays tonight. Hopefully, he puts up a good performance for your team. But yeah, I think that's the only change I'd probably make for your team, Mark. Take out Rashford and bring Eze into your team. I think. Carl Pedersen, welcome. Is Gakpo a bad shout? No, necessarily not. I quite liked watching Gakpo in obviously the Euros. He played really well for the Netherlands, and obviously we've got a new manager now for Liverpool. It's hard to say whether Gakpo will start or not. So obviously you got Darwin there, and then Gakpo. It is a tough one. It's not a bad shout though, because Liverpool's opening fixture is Ipswich, so I think any player that you pick for Liverpool, as long as they start, and that's the only problem, is knowing if they do start for them. I think it's a good fixture for him. So I don't think it's a bad shout. It's just whether he's nailed to obviously starting that lineup, Carl, because it's a bit unsure. But yeah, I think if he does start, it's a good shout. David in the chat. If you downgrade Virgil van Dijk to Kwanzaa, you could turn Eze into Bruno Fernandes. We all know how much you love Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I have been tempted to bring Bruno Fernandes into my team as the only Man United player that I would possibly want from Game Week 1. At the same time, though, I like Virgil van Dijk as well because in that Ipswich game, if Liverpool get a lot of corners, which I believe they probably will, there would be a lot of attacking from Liverpool in that game. There could be a possibility that Virgil van Dijk, we know he's aerial threat from corners as well, so I think there's a little bit more upside slightly from obviously Van Dijk over Kwanzaa, even though he's cheaper and it enables me to get obviously Bruno Fernandes, but I do like Eze as well, especially when Eze's on penalties too. So there's a little bit more upside of keeping Eze, even though Bruno Fernandes is on penalties too. But Bruno Fernandes at 8.5 million, it's a bit of a squeeze, and especially if I've got to downgrade Van Dijk down and upgrade Eze to Bruno. I don't think I have it in me, even though somewhere though, guys, I will fit Bruno Fernandes into my team. It's just I don't think I'll do it from Game Week 1. I'm hoping he doesn't punish me tonight by scoring 2 goals plus or even at least 1. But yeah, at some point in the season, I will bring Bruno Fernandes in. But I think for now, I'm going to keep it as it is. But it is tempting, David. We'll say that. Peep says, who would your pick at keeper be if money was not an issue? I think in terms of the keeper pick, it probably would be Raya, if I'm honest, for Arsenal. I think he would be my goalkeeper pick if money was an issue. I think at 5 million, I think, oh, sorry, let me double check. He is 5 million, not 5.5. Yeah, oh, he is 5.5, sorry. So yeah, at 5.5 million, I think I would pick Raya. I think he is obviously Arsenal defense was pretty good last season. Were pretty much one of the best, and a lot of clean sheets came from Arsenal last season, and I do expect this season to be pretty much matching the same. I think the team's really good, and so yeah, I think David Raya would be my pick. And Benji says, yeah, I think Matty Cash will be a gem. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of gems come through this season. So yeah, potentially Matty Cash could be one of them. Definitely. Roman Jarvis. Can't decide between Nkunku and a 4.5 million defender, or Rogers / Ahmad and a 6 million defender, or a 5.5 mid to rotate with Smith Rowe and Porro. Yeah, Nkunku is another popular option. Definitely a good alternative to Palmer, who's a little bit more expensive. I think though, because they got Man City though in the first game week, it is a bit hard to go for him. Even though a few people have gone for Nkunku in their main team for game week 1, but I feel like it's going to be a tough game for Man City, if I'm honest. So I think I'd leave any Chelsea player out, at least for this game week, and get them when obviously their fixtures improve. But yeah, he is a good one, especially when he's been dropped position, obviously swapped from a forward to a midfield, and he's cheaper now. But I think that's let me check actually how much Nkunku is again. Because around his price mark, there is some quality you can go for. Yeah, obviously a 6.5 at that price. Just checking. So yeah, like I mentioned as well, there is good alternative. I think Gibbs White as well for Nottingham Forest, another good player to have that players may underlook. Bailey, another one potentially. Obviously Andreas for Fulham. Even Garnacho, I quite liked him as a Man United pick. Very differential at 6.5 million, and he did show quite a good performance in the Community Shield against Man City. And the 6 million defender, or a 5.5 mid to rotate with Smith Rowe and Porro. I think I'd go with the 6 million defender. I think instead of a 5.5 mid to rotate with Smith Rowe and Porro, just in case it don't work out with those 5.5 midfielders. Because you do want variancy, but not too much of it, if that makes sense. But 6 million defender. Obviously, you got Saliba or Gabriel for Arsenal. Guardiola is another good one for Man City if you think he'll do well against Chelsea in the opening game. Obviously, there's Virgil van Dijk, who I have at 6 million. If you like the chance and odds of, obviously, if Liverpool keeping a clean sheet against Ipswich, which I believe they will. So yeah, I think I'd go with a 6 million defender. If I had to choose between Rogers / Ahmad or a 4.5 million defender, I think I'll go for a 4.5 million defender, if I'm honest as well, Roman. And yeah, or 6 million defender in terms of your question in regards to your 5.5 mid to rotate with Smith Rowe and Porro. Hopefully that did make sense. that was a lot to comprehend. Got a comment from Mark, says, here's a second draft. I also looked at team Henderson, Fabianski, Trent, Saliba, Porro, Robertson, Johnson, Saka, Jota, Nkunku, Gibbs White, Winks, Haaland, Isaac, and Muniz. Yes, I quite like this second draft, Mark. I think it is better than the first one. I like Haaland, Isaac, and Muniz up front. Muniz, again, is, I think, underlooked. Even though he isn't acting as a forward, well, he is actually forward, even though he's like a midfielder. I still like him as an option. I think he's like the Mitrovic that obviously left and now he's in there. And yes, and Fulham are going to be very popular in game week 2 and 3 because they are against two newly promoted teams as well. So it's a nice setup to have him for game week 1, especially if you play him against Man United and you get something out of that game. 2. Defense as well, fine. Trent, Saliba, Porro, very strong. Robertson as a backup. And Johnson too. Johnson as midfield for Spurs, I think. Saka, Jota, and Kunkun, Gibbs White, and Harry Winks. Midfield is pretty decent too. Obviously, to fit Haaland in as well is a bit pricey at 15 million, but I think that's a pretty good Haaland draft. Obviously, you got there's no Salah, no Palmer, so there is a lot of premiums missing there. Obviously, we have to sacrifice somewhere, but if you are going to have a draft like that, then you probably will have to captain Haaland most game weeks, I think. But yeah, Henderson, Fabianski as goalkeepers, you could rotate them between difficult and easy fixtures too. So yeah, I like that. I like that draft over the first one, Mark. Elika said, I went for Bruno over Jota as I feel obliged to bring in a United player. Do you not feel the same, Jordan? Yeah, I've thought about obviously bringing in a Man United player, especially when they play tonight. It has become more tempting to do it as it comes closer to the time. But I don't know. It's the fixture though, because I know Man United have Fulham and they probably will win that, maybe 2-0 or maybe more. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm too focused on my fantasy team rather than thinking of my actual team itself. In terms of as a Man United fan who's going to do the business. But yeah, I feel like Bruno is going to do something tonight, and it's going to be big. But then again, Eze does have Brentford away, so it is a difficult one because Bruno does have a home fixture over that. So yeah, the more I think about it, the more it is tempting to bring Bruno over Jota in. Yeah, I just don't like changing my mind near the time. That's the only problem. And if the other player does well, then I'm going to absolutely regret it. But we'll see. There's still time to decide and change things. Comment from Benji. Thank you, Benji. That's very appreciated. So yeah, always appreciate all your comments, guys. Edgar, so what are thoughts on this 11? So you have Raya, Porro, Trent, Ward, Salah, Bruno, Kamada, Murphy, Haaland, João Pedro, and Chris Wood. That is a very differential team. I think that is absolutely it's very differential. There's a lot of ones that are very low owned in that team, especially Kamada. That's a very bold pick. I like it. Salah midfield, obviously, alongside Bruno, and João Pedro and Chris Wood up front alongside Haaland. I like it. It's exciting. I like exciting picks like this, Eric. I don't really see nothing wrong with it, if I'm honest. Because I feel like they're all players that I feel like will do well. And they also, if those differentials like Kamada, João Pedro and Chris Wood, even Murphy do well, then yeah, I would be ecstatic. You're going to have a really good rank. Even if one of those players does well, yeah, I'm quite liking the good vibes of that. There's a lot of premiums not in that draft, but I mean, if they don't perform, then yeah, your team is looking really good. But yeah, I'm liking that draft in that starting 11. Roman Giles says, "Yeah, I get you. I could have worded it. No, nothing wrong with your wording. It was absolutely fine. It's just breaking it down because in a comment it's all into one sentence, so it's a bit overwhelming. But yeah, it's completely fine, Roman. Absolutely fine with that. Keep them coming." Roman Giles, yeah, commander pick. I do like that as well. I did see his name pop up in the list, and I wanted we did obviously play for, but yeah, very interesting one to pick. Why don't you see how your team looks with Bruno in it? Yeah, I might actually do that actually, just to see what the team could possibly obviously look see. So bear with me, guys, as I have to log back in. I did log out, and but yeah, not long to go, guys. There is only a couple minutes to go, just over half an hour now. So the time is ticking away. There is literally not long to go. It feels like it's going really quickly. Before we know it, it's going to be a few minutes left, and yeah, it's going to be time, obviously, to make our final changes. But yeah, let me just show you obviously the other team, obviously the transfer page window. So yeah, let's have a look. So let's bring Bruno Fernandes in. Let's take out Eze for now. And select Bruno, 8.5 mil. Obviously downgrade Virgil van Dijk to Kwanzaa. If I can get to his name, there we go. So yeah, that's still zero in the budget. Let's make the transfers. So Virgil Eze out, Kwanzaa and Fernandes in. Let's have a look at obviously what it looks like. So let me refresh the page. So yeah, that's what it would look like if I downgraded obviously Virgil to Kwanzaa and took out Eze for Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I like the move. I do like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's either Eze or Diogo Jota take out, but I kind of like Jota in there as another Liverpool asset to go with alongside Salah. But yeah, it's a difficult one because I prefer. Do you like Eze in there and Virgil van Dijk? But it's a Liverpool, obviously defender anyway in there, so regardless, I still get that clean sheet even if it isn't Van Dijk in there. But yeah, I do like it. The more I see it now, the more it makes sense. Plus, I'm a Man United fan. Well, why am I questioning this? I should be on board with this decision because it's Bruno Fernandes and he's one of my favourite players to watch for Man United, especially that Community Shield game. I thought the balls he was delivering up front were magnificent, like cutting edge, perfect. So he has looked dangerous on those assists, which he probably will get a lot of through the season, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, let me just take a look at Man United's fixtures after that. So they have Brighton after Fulham. Then they got Liverpool at home, which is going to be a tough one. Then after that, they got Southampton, Crystal Palace, tough one against Spurs, Aston Villa, Brentford, West Ham. So it's a bit up and down with Bruno Fernandes, but opening first game week 1 and 2, looking pretty good. The Liverpool game, not so much, because anything could happen in that one. But yeah, I'm going to keep it like this, I think. I will keep it like this. Yeah, I will. I will settle for this, I think, for now. Anything can change, but I'll keep that for now. Comment from Alan's saying, play a 4-4-2 with Palmer and Eze, or do Palmer 2 and Kunkun, where it will allow me to have Eze and Gordon to play a 3-5-2. Do Palmer 2 and Kunkun, where it will allow me to have Eze and Gordon to play a 3-5-2. or play a 4-4-2 with Palmer and Eze. I like the Palmer to Nkunku. If you can upgrade him to that, then even though Palmer's quite expensive, I feel like he's going to be quite good as well at the same time. Even though he has Man City, it's going to be a tough game, but at least you do have Palmer then onwards after that. And it does allow you to have Eze and Gordon, which are two players that I would probably want in my team as well. I have one of them. I just took out the other one for Bruno Fernandes. And obviously you got Gordon and I do like the formation 3-5-2 over the 4-4-2 because I'm not sure about clean sheets this season. We saw last season there weren't many for many teams, and it was more beneficial to have the midfield 5 or 3 at the front. So yeah, I'll be going with the second pick, Palmer to Nkunku, and have Eze and Gordon and play that 3-5-2. Roman Jarvis says, who would you say is the better pick between Nkunku and Garnacho? From what I've seen, I'd probably say Garnacho. And that's not just because I'm obviously a Man United supporter. That's just how I've looked in terms of form between both players. I think Garnacho has been pretty sharp. He has a lot, obviously, experience with Man United now. He is growing confidence and he's taken on shots now, which is good to see from Man United. It wasn't me taking that many options to obviously attack as much as we did see. So in that Community Shield game, yeah, he looked pretty lethal, if I'm honest. And to score against Man City as well, not the easiest feat to do. Not every player or team can do that. So yeah, I am feeling Garnacho over Nkunku. But don't get me wrong, Nkunku could be a great option addition to FPL as well. It's just I need to wait and see more of him. Even though in pre-season he was pretty good, but I do need to see a lot more from Nkunku in the Premier League because we didn't really see him much last season. But we saw more Garnacho, and that's probably persuaded me more. And Hamza says I prefer that team. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more it does look better. I'm even tempted to change Dan Burn to Hall, as it seems to be a lot of people reckon. Well, from obviously a lot of rumours and predictions are saying Hall will play over Burn. So yeah, I could be swayed with that choice as well. Hisami, welcome. Long time no see. Yes, it is. I'm very good, thanks. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, it has been a long time. It's great to be back streaming again for FPL. Yes, so yes, he unfortunately will miss the deadline stream today. He is very busy. He is going to be married this Sunday, so he's very busy at the moment preparing for that. So he has a lot of life commitments going on at the moment, but he does wish to be here. It's just he's too obviously a lot going on at the moment in life. So yeah, he will be back though, guys. So you will see Huss and obviously his team as well, because obviously you won't see it on this deadline stream today. But wish him the best, obviously, because he's going to be back very soon. So don't worry, guys. He will return. Roman says, how long would Konza have to play for him to be worth it? Because if I have him at the moment, as I think for my team, as long as he gets the international break starting, he's a really good pick. Yeah, I agree with that. Because he's obviously 4.5 million, cheap. And good opening fixture at Ipswich. And yeah, as long as he does get an international break starting, yeah, I do agree with that, Roman. But yeah, I would prefer a Trent. Though, if I could afford it, it would be Trent there. But Quanzo is probably next best over Trent or Van Dijk. May I ask what the plan will be for Game Week 2 when Man City play Ipswich? Yes, because obviously there's no Man City assets in this draft. So, well, in terms of Man City, I'm not sure because Foden's potentially not back for Game Week 2, and he probably would have been my pick from the from the Game Week 1, but it's hard to say though because you've got Haaland, which I can't really afford for Game Week 2 unless I took it here. And that's really drastically changed the team. The midfield, I mean, it's hard to say. De Bruyne, it's a bit pricey still. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, there is Guardiola at 6 million, but yeah, I mean, if I was to bring a Man City player in against Ipswich in Game Week 2, it probably would be a defender rather than attacker. It seems crazy saying that because you'd want at least one Man City midfielder. I just don't know who I'll take out for that second game because Salah has Brentford. Newcastle will have Bournemouth, which is, again, a nice fixture. Bruno Fernandes will have Brighton, again, good fixture for them. And Saka, yeah, it's a tough one against Aston Villa, but it is Saka and Arsenal. And yeah, that's definitely not happening. So yeah, hard to fit in a Man City midfielder, definitely. Even to fit in Guardiola, I still would have to downgrade someone else to get him because he is 6 million. And Pedro Porro's only 5.5, so yeah, I think it'd be a difficult one to obviously manage. But yeah, I might possibly be going without Man City asset in Game Week 2. And David says, I think Burn and Hall will both play, but Hall will be the attacking left back. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you would prefer to go to the attacking threat with Hall. So yeah, that is a good shout, I guess. Go with the attacking threat. It's like with Trippier as well. You'd go probably Trippier, him playing on the obviously attacking the left wing attack, so right wing attack. But between the two, yeah, it does make sense going full over Burn. I do agree with that. Marek, is Murillo from Forest good for 4.5? I like the price of Murillo. I just don't think he is a viable option for the fantasy. I mean, I like the player, but it just depends how many involvements he gets for Nottingham Forest. I would prefer Gibbs White, even though he's a bit more expensive at 6.5. Even Alanga, a little bit cheaper at 5.5. He does impress me sometimes, but yeah, Murillo. Oh, sorry. Obviously, he's a defender. But yeah, I'm not sure on the clean sheets for Nottingham Forest. I'm not sure they will get that many. They have a good run of fixtures, game week 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, not too keen on Murillo. Especially with Bournemouth as their opening fixture as well. But he could be a good bench player if you decide to rotate in between difficult and easy fixtures. So I think for the price, yeah, he is good for a bench option. But you could play him for a nice fixture like where's a good fixture for? Well, let's say Southampton in game week 2. So if you bench him for game week 1 against Bournemouth and playing for Southampton away in game week 2, then in that sense, yes, Murillo is good when you have a difficult defender who has a difficult fixture over him. You could play Murillo. Andy Max says, "Have you got a planned first wildcard date?" Well, that's the thing because of this new, obviously the new rule of you can stack 5 transfers now. That's pretty much half of a wildcard right there if you do decide to do that. So it does make things interesting in terms of when you actually do use your first wildcard. But I can't say for sure now, Ali Mac, when the wildcard date will be. That's very, very early on to know that because the way the transfers work out now, Like before, obviously we could only have 2, and then you'd have to use one, otherwise you'll burn a transfer. I think now because there's 5, you could possibly get up to now. It does change a lot of ideas about when you use the wild card, and obviously when we use these chips now because of that massive change. Hizami says Livramento or Lewis Hall. It's gonna have to be Lewis Hall, I think. Being on that attacking left for Newcastle. But even though Livramento, he could be clashing a bit with Trippier potentially. So yeah, I think I'll go with Lewis Hall. Marek says, and who is the second best 6.5 mid after Nkunku? Second best 6.5 midfielder over Nkunku. Let's see. So at 6.5 mini midfielder, who would I say over him? There's not many picks, to be honest. I would probably say yeah, it's hard to decide that. It's between, I think, Garnacho and Gibbs White for me. I think I'll go with Garnacho. Yeah, Garnacho. I'll say the second best in Nkunku at that price, at 6.5. Because there aren't that many that great options, I'd say, that I really like. So yeah, I'll probably say Garnacho. Roman says, do you think keeping money left over is a good idea? Because I could be very happy keeping 1.5 million in the bank for future moves. Absolutely. It is definitely a good idea to have that excess money at hand, because it just allows you to just upgrade or be able to afford someone that you're looking to bring in for the next game week, for example. And if you have 0 in the bank and you're looking to bring this player in next game week and you haven't got the money to do it, then it leaves you in a bit of a loophole to obviously make the move. So yeah, that would be lovely having 1.5 million in the bank, especially for my team that had 0 money in the bank. It's a good team, but I would prefer to have money left in it, so obviously to afford a player that I'd want that's more expensive than the player that I'm looking to change. So yeah, absolutely. The more money, the better, I think, Roman. Teams currently Henderson and the Palace backup goalkeeper. Yeah, that's the same with me. I've got Flecken and the backup goalkeeper of obviously Baldy Marson. So yeah, there is a few teams that are doubling up on the backup goalkeepers just to see which one obviously starts over who. But yeah, you're kind of hoping the 4 million goalkeeper does. Henderson, Matthews, Konza, Mikalenko, Robinson, Byrne, Konza, Salah, Emil Smith-Rowe, Eze, Morgan Gibbs White, Ahmad, Haaland, Isaac Solanke with 1.5 million in the bank. Yeah, that is pretty good. No, I'm quite happy with that team. It's a very differential defense you got there. Obviously, Konza, Mikalenko for Everton. Because Brantford is out as well now. That does allow cheaper, obviously, because I think Brantford is 5 mil. Mikalenko at 4.5, saving yourself 0.5 million there. And I think Mikalenko does provide a little bit more attacking threat as well over Brantford. Robertson as well is good for game week 2 and 3 for the back-to-back newly promoted teams. Dan Burn, good solid pick for clean sheets for Newcastle. Konza, Aston Villa, looking to look good this season. Salah, Mayman, got Ipswich. Eze got Brentford, but he's on penalties, which I like. Morgan Gibbs White, exciting pick for Nottingham Forest, especially with Chris Wood up front. And they do have Bournemouth without Solanke, which could be exciting. Ahmad, another great pick. And I think he's a good player. Haaland, Isak, Solanke as the three dangerous attacks. Very good as well, especially Solanke being the interesting signing for Spurs at 65 million. It's going to be quite intriguing to see how he does there. But yeah, Haaland, Isak, very good, strong forward line, and 1.5 million in the bank as well. I think that's money spent very well there, Roman. His Amis says Matoma is a good option over Nkunku. Yeah, I mean, I did have Matoma a lot last season. It didn't really quite get go for him. I don't know what happened with Brighton really last season, but I'm hoping to see improvement because Matoma could be another good option after Nkunku. I'm just going on the basis of what I saw last season, really. I think Matoma did have a downgrade in terms of his performances then. Yeah. But yeah, he could have a turnaround this season, but he is another good option, I'd say. And David Hammer says Bailey, good option too. Yeah, absolutely. Bailey's another good option for Aston Villa. Could look good, or probably will look good. Obviously this season, because obviously Emery has reformed Aston Villa team completely. So that will be an exciting watch, and to see if Bailey could be a nice gem in teams too. Yes, that's all your comments for now, guys, and let's just check how long we got. So we've got 12 minutes till the deadline is over, so there's not long to go until we finally get the obviously game week 1 underway. But as you can see on the screen, I'm going to do one more change. I will actually pick cool because, yeah, he does show attacking threat, which on the left side over Dan Burn. So let's put Hall in instead of him. And quickly make that transfer. Now refresh the page, and there he is. Hall is now in the team. So yeah, I'm liking the team now. I want to thank you guys for the recommendation of taking out Virgil van Dijk to Kwanzaa and bringing in Bruno Fernandes in for Eze. I quite like it now for that team. So yeah, I think that's pretty much locked in. Thoughts on Mbeumo? Yeah, that's an interesting one as well because Tony is now back. Obviously, he was banned a lot from last season, so we didn't really see much of him. And he did make a good return as well. But I think he could be an interesting one because those two players do collaborate well together, Mbeumo and Tony. Obviously, Mbeumo will lose a lot more attacking threat now because Tony is back. So you probably have to rely more on his assists rather than his goal scoring abilities that he does possess. So it's interesting with Brentford, though. There is a lot of variation in goal scorers sometimes, and it's hard to know who, and a bit frustrating on who you think is going to get a good return. But yeah, Mbeumo is in sort of in my limelight as well as Tony. It's again, I want to see what Brentford have to offer this season because it was a bit up and down last season of what the performances each game were like. So that's a bit ironic because I got Flecken as a goalkeeper. But yeah, it is interesting to see. I will keep an eye on it. I think I've had this before, but Flecken or Henderson? I think, yeah, I still prefer Flecken over Henderson for this current moment. I don't think either one will keep a clean sheet this game week, but if I had to prefer one to the other, it would probably be Flecken for me. Is Hall better than Burn? I know he's more attacking, but I feel Burn is a lot more nailed. Yeah, that's the reason why I went with Burn in the first place, because of his nailed place. But it's whether you want to go for the risk of obviously Hall better at the attack or keep it safe and go with Burn. And you get that nailed clean sheet from him. or would you go with Hall and potentially get an attack and return as well as a clean sheet? So there's a bit of an argument there of which one to go for. I might switch in between actually. I might go back to Bird instead of going with Hall. It's just the last thoughts of before the deadline does put you on your toes a bit. Roman says, I like in Burma, but only if Tony left, so in Burma got pens back. Yeah, that's what I mean, because Burma does lose a lot of benefits now from Tony being back, and obviously Tony goes back to being the penalty taker, and then Burma drops back further instead of being high like he was for Brentford in the absence of Tony. So yeah, that's a bit of a downgrade for me when you say it like that, Roman. He does lose penalties, and you won't see as many goals from him this season, more assists. Jane says Rodgers and Saka or Bruno Fernandes and Nkunku. Tough one, because you have to either pick Saka or Fernandes. Sure, I'll go with the more exciting pick. I'll go for Fernandes and Nkunku, I think, over Rodgers and Saka. Even though Saka's a big pick for Arsenal, I still feel like Man United, Bruno Fernandes is a big pick for him as well. They both have two good fixtures. And Nkunku as well is a surprise one because he's dropped to midfield now. He could be more involved and he's a better cheaper option if you can't afford Palmer too. So I will go with Fernandes and Nkunku just to cover that Man United and Chelsea side. David says Van Dijk, Eze and Burn all Horn tomorrow then. yeah, that would be my luck, David, if that was to happen. Of course, I take out Van Dijk and Eze. They both get a good haul. And obviously Burn gets his clean sheet and Hall doesn't. If he does come off early. So yeah, that would make my Game Week 1 delightful, I think. Hamzar says, final team locked in, thoughts. Raya, Trent, Porro, Anderson, Bruno, Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Hudson-Odoi, and Isaac and Havertz up top. And Isaac captain. Well, let's start off with your captain. I think that's perfect captain pick to go for. I've gone with Isaac too. I think he's going to have a stormer against Southampton at home. Let's talk about your defence. So Trent, Porro, Anderson. Again, that defence is solid. You've got Trent, he's got Ipswich. Porro's got Leicester away. And Anderson, who I've actually forgotten who he's actually playing. So yeah, he plays against Brentford. That's the only one I'm not sure about Vanderson. But Trent and Porro definitely on board with that. I think I would prefer, instead of an Anderson, maybe go for, if you can, just seeing if you can do it. You got Gordon, Isaac. Yeah, you could have a triple up on Newcastle actually and go for Hall or Burton instead of Anderson. And then you would have the same back three as me in terms of their fixtures. So you have Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton. So all your defenders will have a new to promoted teams. And I feel like that's the most likelihood of obviously a clean sheet being there for the back three. So, but rest of the team: Bruno, Palmer, Salah, Gordon. That's a very strong midfielder with Hudson-Odoi as a number 5 in the midfield, and Isaac and Havertz. Havertz, I think, is underlooked as well. I think Havertz up front is going to be really good for Arsenal. He looked really good in the Euros as well. I know it's a different ball game in terms of Premier League, but he has brought a lot of confidence in himself. A lot. I think he lacked that last season as well, but I feel like this season he's going to be a bit more explosive, and we're going to see quite a few goals from him. Because I quite would like to have had to have a Havertz up front for me. So yeah, I like that final team. Hamza, it's really good. And to top it off with Isaac captain, yeah, you can't. I won't question any other play on that because that is a good team. And Rome says, "Damn, Burn, bullet header inbound then." Yeah, absolutely from a corner, and that'll probably be from not not be from Gordon, but from someone else as well. Just to add on top of that, Roman. It'll be any other player apart from the players I do have in the team to get the returns. And it took me 60 different drafts to get to this stage. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of chop and changing in between, obviously, these moments. But we have 3 minutes, guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change down Burn back. I don't think I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for the safe option and go for Burn. I just feel like for Game Week 1, I do want to have a solid game week where I know all my players are going to start. And regardless of what happens, whether it's a clean sheet or not for Newcastle, I won't have any regrets. I thought for a second there the website went down. So that was a bit scary. But yeah, Dan Burn is back in the team, guys. Just for the clarity. Iguia comes in for Newcastle, then Burn could be a minute's risk. Yeah, that's the only thing. The minutes risk between Dan Burn and Iguia, that is a worrying thing. But I want to wait and see, obviously. I mean, if for the worst case scenario that Dan Burn doesn't get, obviously, the minutes, then in the likelihood is Newcastle don't get a clean sheet, they won't be as bad as first thought. But I'm hoping that Dan Burn does start and plays at least 60 minutes. Harry, how are you doing? I'm good, thank you. Jota or Gordon? I like Diogo Jota. It's exciting. I think Huss would agree with me and go with Jota as well over Gordon, even though both have good fixtures. I'll personally have both of my team, but I'll choose Jota. Just about. Bruno's apparently playing up front as a false 9. That's even more beneficial, considering now I've transferred him in 2. So yeah, I mean, he did say in one of his interviews that he will bring him into your teams because he will score and give you a lot of assists. So yeah, there's a lot of positivity from having Bruno Fernandes now in the team, and I think I'm quite delighted. I'm even more excited to watch Man United tonight as well. Now that I've got Bruno Fernandes in the team too, so at least one Man United asset in there makes it more worthwhile. And Harry in the chat, long time no see, Harry. Hope you're doing well. You've gone for a bench boost game week 1. Well, that is different. That's very different. It could be really good actually, because game week 1 is usually a massive, obviously, game week where a lot of goals coming from teams and a lot of points. So yeah, that bench boost could work out really well. Let me know actually what your bench is, Harry, and who you got on your bench that you're boosting. And Michael says, I have Henderson in goal. Is it worth doubling up with Munoz in order to upgrade in Burma to Gordon? Absolutely. If it means that you're upgrading in Burma to Gordon, then yeah, I'll definitely do that. Even though if it's doubling up with obviously Henderson, I'll still do that. If it meant going from my Burma to Gordon, then it's worthwhile, I think, to bring him in when he's got Southampton. But that is it, guys. The deadline is officially up. So hopefully you have made your picks, decisions, and you're happy with your team. And obviously, as you can see on the screen, that is my team locked in. So I'll just quickly run through it again. Flecken in goal, Pedro Porro, Kwanzaa, Burn in the back 3. You've got Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Diego Jota, Salah, Gordon in the midfield 5, and Solanke and Isaac up front, with Voldy, Marson, Muniz, Robinson, and Davies on the bench, and with Isaac being the captain for game week 1, with Salah being the vice. So yes, I am buzzing for the start of this Premier League season. I think it's going to be very exciting one to watch, with a lot of twists and turns and shocks along the way, and hopefully a lot of green arrows for each and every one of you. So I'll read out the rest of your comments, and then I will end the stream shortly after that, because I will be getting prepared and ready for your Man United fixture. So a comment from Ahmed who says, "What do you think? Goalkeeper Raya, Fabianski, defenders are Porro, Guardiola, Konza. Lisandro Martinez is interesting. And Barco. Midfielders Palmer, Bruno Fernandes, Eze, Salah, Smith Rowe. Forwards Muniz, Salah, Solanke, and Isaac. 97 rating from AI. Yeah, there's been a few AI ratings I've seen from teams. Considering that's a 97, that's pretty good. Lisandro Martinez is a very interesting one for obviously Man United. They somehow get clean sheets, guys. So don't be put off by bringing in a Man United defender. I mean, personally, for me, I'll go with the attack. But there could be some games where Man United do manage to get a surprising clean sheet against teams. Obviously, I like Kwanzaa Guardiola. It's going to be quite interesting. Obviously, he's got Chelsea first game week, but second one he's got Ipswich, so he could pull off a madness in defence. And obviously, Pedro Porro has Leicester away in his first game week. He's shown a lot of attacking threat, so I do like the defender picks. Midfielders, Palmer, excellent. Bruno Fernandes, even better. Eze, Salah, Smith Rowe. I've seen him in quite a few teams as well. He could be a good enabler and a gem. And the forward line, Muniz, Solanke, and Isaac, even better. So, yeah, I think that's a very good team for a 97 rating as well. And you mean Gurhi? For that. Sorry. Yes, so Gurhi as well. So thank you for that, James. Hamza has gone with Burn. Then cheers, Jordan. Good luck with game week 1. Yeah, thanks. Good luck with your team as well, Hamza. And yeah, I've gone with Burn as well too. So fingers crossed. Dan Burn gets that clean sheet. And let's just see. So your team, Harry's, Sells, Trent, Shaw, Porro, Gordon, Gibbs, White, Son, Garnacho, Jota, Isaac, Havertz, Bench, Henderson, Dalot, Gabriel, and Wood. Is that the Arsenal Gabriel you've got on the bench there? Because I don't think I'll be benching Gabriel against Wolves, but yeah, I've got Shaw, Trent, and Porro in the back three. Yeah, I'd be a big bench in there, though, Keith, for Gabriel being on the bench, because there's probably a clean sheet there for Arsenal, I see. But yeah, I've got Havertz up front, though, to make up for it. Son is an interesting one as well, because I did have him in my previous team drafts. Well, that was before Solanke joined Spurs, so that did change after that. But it would be interesting to see what Son does now with Solanke up front. He basically replaces like Harry Kane in that sense, but yeah, it should be interesting how the relationship develops between the two. And yeah, it's a very good team, Harry, and good luck. Oh yeah, sorry, that's your bench boost. Sorry, I keep forgetting you bench boosting game week 1. So yeah, that's a good bench boost. Someone is Dalot, Gabriel, and Chris Wood combination. Yeah, I'm liking that. Good luck with that bench boost. It could provide you with a lot of points. David says it just wouldn't have been right if you'd gone with no Man United. Yes, I agree, David. That is true. Now, thank you for obviously pointing out to me that it wouldn't be right having no Man United player in the team, especially when they play tonight as well in the opening fixture of the season. So yeah, hopefully he does do the business tonight. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it, I think. Thank you obviously for watching throughout the stream and all your comments as well. It's always appreciated. Don't forget, guys, to obviously give this video a like and subscribe for more. If you want to join our league, the code is just below me. So it is DO0PND. It's also in the description down below. So if you do want to join the mini league, please do that as well, because we do have a little competition there for you guys. So yeah, I think though we will wrap this stream up and we shall get mentally prepared for what obviously fantasy football and Premier League football has to offer. So in terms of the knee-jerk reaction stream, it'll probably be tomorrow, Saturday, after most of the games have been played. I will have to obviously give a time for that. I can't at the moment, but it's probably happening tomorrow because I won't be available Sunday to do the knee-jerk reactions. So we'll see tomorrow how well the team has done. But yeah, until then, guys, let me just close these windows. And yeah, take care, guys. Enjoy the football and good luck. Hopefully, you get a green arrow for your first game. But until tomorrow, see you. Take care. And yeah, we'll see how each of us are done in deadline stream.